I know we've done a bunch of videos on sailing and where we've been, but we haven't really given you a tour of our home, so we figured we'd take the opportunity now and show you a bit more of Peacemaker. We'll start with the inside. She's a 1980 tartan 37-foot sloop designed by Sparkman and Stevens. And if you want to, come on into the cabin.
Okay.
Here. So you can see there's not a whole lot of living space, but plenty for Josh and Brewster and I as we've been able to downsize. We've got our galley here to the starboard side. We've got top loading fridge and dry storage. An extra bit of counter space here that, oh my gosh, and it's gimbaled so that when we're heeled over underway, the stove stays level. And then we've got our sink, and they're really clever. Boat designers are so clever about using every freaking square inch. So here is more storage. Down here we got pots, pans, a ton of peanut butter, and then all of the rest of our food is in these cabinets back here. I know it's kind of like Studio 54 in here with the mirrors. So you're just seeing more storage here. Oh, everything has its place. And we were so excited to find this hanging fruit net because now it gets all of our fresh fruit out of the way. Thanks. On the port side, we've got our quarter berth here, which is room for another 2 people to sleep, although since it's just Josh and I, we use it for scuba and kite surfing storage. And then underneath here is our 45-gallon fuel tank, diesel tank. And on this side is just a bunch of storage. So we have like bosun chair, dog food, extra dog food, I don't know, just a bunch of stuff under there. And then behind here, under the stairs, heart of it all. Our universal 44 horsepower diesel engine. Bruce so enthralled by it all. Bruce's favorite spots on the boat. I think because she can see into the cockpit and she can see down into this a lot. So the navigation desk is a place where Josh and I hang out often. This is where we write our blog posts and chart our next passage. It's also where we've got all of our fuses and switches for all of our lights and GPS, sailing instruments, autopilot, our interior cabin lights. We have to power the water pressure for our sinks. Stereo, so we can have soundtrack to our sailing. VHF radio and everything, and we've got our VHF radio here, our handheld here, and then this actually opens for all of our charts and SSB radio and all of our sort of instruments and binoculars. The boat also has a 1,000-watt inverter that powers any electronics that use 110-watt AC power, like those with traditional US pronged plugs, like our electric toothbrush and our laptop. The inverter converts the DC power from our house batteries, the 12-volt, into 110-volt AC power first. But it does suck quite a bit of power. So luckily, most of our other electronics, like our iPad and our our underwater flashlights, are charged with DC 12-volt power and can plug directly in without needing to be converted first. And then down here is another important thing in storage, but this is Josh's distillery. His moonshine, in which he's actually used a couple of times and made some pretty good rum. Woo! All right. All right, so follow me as we move into as we move further into the cabin. We've got our port side and starboard side settees. We have our 60-gallon water tank, fresh water tank under here, because again, like I said, we have to conserve water and we bring all of our fresh water with us. So we got 60 gallons over here. We have 30 gallons under this one. And then this is also our house and starter batteries under here. So like Let me give you a quick peek. There's our battery bank there. So that powers the whole boat, and that's powered by our solar panels up on deck, which I'll show you in a bit. And here's our water tank. Boat designers really use every possible space, and Peacemaker is no exception. So behind the cushions, we've got more storage. Here we have dog treats and dog toys and some other things there. We've got more, we're stocked up now because we just got to Georgetown, so we have more dry food storage in here. And then we have the same on the other side here, but this is Josh's side, so we have more tools and spare parts and things like that. So quite a bit of storage despite the small space. And then this is another important part that I thought I should show you. This is really what sold us on the boat, I think. Aww, it's the bar. So this is where we have all of our stocks of rum. Hey, we just got to Georgetown and restocked. Woo! And then here's our stereo. We got our diving and some dry bags, just extra storage. And we've got drawers of storage here. We've got storage back here. These books, when we're heeled over sailing, would go flying back there, but I was kind of clever. I have to pat myself on the back on this idea. And put a plastic shower curtain rod back there so it stays put. So there it is right there. So they just slide just back and forth. Then this was actually where the air conditioner was when we bought the boat, but since we knew it draws a ton of power and we knew that we wouldn't be plugged in most of the time, we'd be going from our solar panel, so we needed to monitor our power. So we took the AC out and it actually took up a ton of space. So we lucked out and now have a bunch of storage space here. And up here as well. Let's continue moving towards the bow. Although we can't forget this lovely item because this is Brewster's home on the boat. Her bed. Thanks, Mom, for making it. Brew, come here. Here, you want to lay on your bed? There, see, she knows that's her home. There is a foldable table that mounts here against the wall and then folds down. It wasn't installed when we bought the boat. We have the table, but we just haven't mounted it because really we don't eat inside that much. We eat in the cockpit outside most of the time. As we keep going, we've got the head. It's all clean. We've got some nice storage back here. This is a manual pump Groco toilet. So what you do is you just hand crank it, and what's in the bowl sucks out into the holding tank, and then you step on this foot pedal right down here and pump it again, and then the water fills back up in the bowl. And I know it seems a little high. Like, look at, it's a little high. So there's this handy little step thing that slides out and you can rest your feet on. What do you know? Alright, medicine cabinet and all that good stuff. Then let's show you some of our closet space, because this was a huge decrease in size or downgrade from what we'd had before, but you're getting used to it. It was tougher for me than for Josh. So this hanging locker is where we have all of our wet weather gear and cold weather gear and our safety stuff. So Bruce life jacket, our inflatable PFDs, our safety lines. So this is where all of our safety gear is. Our jack stays, our boots. So when it rains, we know this is the locker to go to. And then, last but not least, we've got the V-berth in the front of the boat. We started out sleeping here, but now that it's getting warmer, it tends to be a little bit warm in here. And also, it's kind of rocky since this is at the front of the boat. If we're in any unsettled weather, this is the front of the boat is the part that really bobs up and down. So Josh and I actually tend to sleep on the settees in this salon because it's more comfortable. If a bigger, comfortable bed is at the top of your priority list, then you might want to consider a center cockpit boat, which has a bigger stateroom that expands the whole width of the boat in the stern. Or get a bigger boat. But we've got plenty of storage underneath here. This is where we have some extra sails, our spinnaker, and even a third anchor is stored in all of the storage under here. On this side, we have the holding tank is under the V-berth here. Then we have a couple more lockers. So we have this, I have a shelf, Josh has a shelf. And then we have a hanging locker here. Hats, hanging clothes. And then we've got some drawers here and all of our shoes crammed into there, which, to be honest, we don't open that too much because we don't wear shoes too often. Josh might have been right on that one. I probably didn't need to bring as many shoes as I did, but you just never know when you're gonna need sandals versus tennis shoes versus purple flip-flops, right? Back in that cabinet back there is our anchor chain. So, I don't know if you can see this, but that's our anchor windlass right there, and the chain comes straight down from the bow of the boat, and it cranks it down into here. So that's just the storage for all of our anchor chain, and then it pulls up out of that when we drop anchor. And we have a little bit more storage under here. Josh's tools, of course. And we have a couple more sets of tools back there. Our laundry bag. And last but not least, our abandoned ship bag, which is all packed, ready to go. And then we bring this out into the cockpit when we're underway in case we have to abandon ship in an emergency. We just grab that. And we didn't bring much in the way of personal decorations or anything with us, but there were two things that we brought just as a nod to our past two homes. So this one that's in the main salon is a picture of Forest Park by a local artist in St. Louis, John Pills, Forest Park in St. Louis, Missouri. So that always reminds us of our home and where all our family and friends are. And the other is here in the Galley, is an illustration we bought when we lived in London. So this is of our neighborhood, Battersea, that we lived in London. So we've got our two homes commemorated on our current home. Oh, and then we've also got our whiteboard, which is really prominent, where we see it all the time, where we note things that we need to fix or projects we need to do, future blog post ideas. I listen to Chris Parker's weather forecast in the morning and jot down if there's any storms or squalls or anything that are coming, so we know this is kind of our main information board. Also, we have a keel stepped mast, so it comes all the way from the deck down and is anchored into the keel down there. She's pretty beany. I think she's 11 feet 9 inches, so we've got quite a bit of open space, and it's pretty well ventilated. So we've got the big hatch in the V-berth there, and then we got another hatch up here over the main cabin and all the ports, and when they're open we really have pretty good airflow, even though we're in the Caribbean in the middle of summer. It's actually pretty nice. We have a nice breeze. So thanks. Next we'll take you outside and show you the cockpit and the deck. For a tour of Peacemaker's exterior, check out our next video, part 2, on YouTube or our blog, awildwaypoint.com.